welcome to today's show. Great to see everybody again. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch the Lot videos, the Remember the Wife of Lot videos that are being shown at the 2017 regional conventions worldwide for the Jehovah's Witnesses. And I saw them, and I felt compelled to do my own review of them. There's just so much to say. So let's get started. The story of Lot always scared me as a child. Hearing about fire and sulfur raining down on people and killing them all. I didn't even know what sulfur was, but I didn't like the sound of it. And I could never understand the idea that Lot's unnamed wife was killed because she turned around. You know the power of suggestion when someone says, "Don't turn around," and you're like, "What? Don't!" I felt like, I don't know, it's like this feeling that you know you can't do it, so of course it's all you want to do. It's like when someone says to you, don't yawn or don't scratch yourself. It's like all you want to do is yawn and scratch. So it seemed weird. It's like, do I have to have blinders on like a horse? Because I'm dying to turn around now that I know I can't. Especially when I'm hearing all these people screaming and freaking out behind me because they're all dying. Anyways. And the thing that I also find weird about the whole story is how the Jehovah's Witness organization loves to terrify people with it. They really love to showcase all the pictures of people, slowly dying in agony. I mean, is this really necessary? Is this what we need to do to children? Because take a look at some of these children's books that I grew up with, and you'll see what I mean. This is from the From Paradise Lost to Paradise Regained book. We see all these people here drowning in the flood, and we see more people and animals drowning in the flood, and then we see what happened there in Sodom and Gomorrah with the pillar of salt in the background. That was my little peanut who photobombed us in the last clip there. Apparently he was too sick to go to school today. I'm just really glad that he doesn't have to see these pictures that I had to grow up with. I mean, the organization knows that fear motivates people, but they seem to be getting more desperate these days. I mean, what kind of a sick organization thinks it's entertaining for children to do a connect the dots of someone slowly, painfully dying? Like this one of Lot's wife from their own website. Children that go to Sunday school are given connect the dots of pictures that make angels or baby Jesus. JW gives to children for entertainment pictures of people being tortured. Here's another one from the children's section of their website. Lot's oddly Jezebel red-haired wife slowly, painfully being tortured to death. It's absolutely horrifying and totally unnecessary. In Alfred Hitchcock's famous shower scene from his movie Psycho, you never actually see the woman being stabbed. You know what's happening, but you don't need to see it to get the point. JW.org wants you and your children to see the graphic violence. And as you see, these are scenes here from their videos.
Mom, don't look back. Remember the wife of Lot.
Remember the wife of Lot.
What's wrong?
I found the entire Lot series to be very soap opera-ish. The irony is that as a witness child, the only thing my parents pretty much didn't allow me to watch was soap operas. Check it out and you'll see what I mean.
Previously on Remember the Wife of Lot.
I'm going to real estate classes.
What? We didn't talk about this. Why?
If you made more money, I wouldn't have to.
Gloria, wait.
I've decided something.
What is it?
To start studying the Bible together.
You mean you want to become a priest?
Come on, Rick. All I see is an unhappy man.
You have no idea how much pressure Gloria is putting on me.
You're not the same person that I once knew.
The 3 videos in this series featured 2 families. One was an established Jehovah's Witness family that corresponded to Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters. The wife in this series had worldly family who kept encouraging her to make more money, to have a nice home, to have a secure future, and to look after her daughters for their futures. Basically what everybody wants, except there was a bit more emphasis on making sure that you look good all the time and kind of a showy display of one's means of life. Something I don't personally go for, but as long as you're balanced and everything, it really doesn't have to get out of hand. And the other family was studying with the first Jehovah's Witness family, and the video showcases all the different changes that they had to make to conform to JW.org standards. The wife who was studying was initially concerned because she felt that why bother going to the Kingdom Hall? It's going to be the same as all the other churches where people couldn't really care less about you. But one thing she didn't realize is that high controlling organizations love to love bomb people who are new.
I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's the same thing that happens when I go to church. The people don't even know that I'm there. So why go? What?
Nothing. You'll see. You'll see.
We'd like to welcome back Brother Lee Williams.
I guess they didn't notice the girl sitting in the glass room at the back of the Kingdom Hall. New ones are not told about the ones sitting at the back who are shunned by all their loved ones. No love bombing going on there. Sadly, they won't find out exactly what goes on until they're baptized and it's too late. In the next clip, they call circuit overseers volunteers. But ask yourself when you watch this, how are they any different from clergymen?
Yeah.
So how much does he make then?
Oh, well, he doesn't make anything. He's a volunteer.
A volunteer?
Yeah.
Well, how does he afford that nice car, his phone, and his suit?
Well, the congregation covers his basic expenses.
What? The congregation? Man, it sounds to me like he's living off others instead of working like you say.
Oh, no, Joe. You got it all wrong. He's busy just like the rest of us. He's busy preaching, he's preparing, teaching, listening to it. It's not like that.
Yeah, but you suppose he ever asked himself, can I make it in this real world like you and I do every day?
Joe, trust me. He knows what this world is really like. I mean, he's in it every day, helping people. Besides, before he learned the truth, he had a prestigious career. He just doesn't talk about it.
Man, I gotta go. Hey, Mary.
Okay.
The last statement that they were talking about there reminds me of something from the TV show Curb Your Enthusiasm. There was an episode where the Ted Danson character had given an anonymous donation to a hospital. But of course he told everyone. It kind of defeated the purpose. The circuit overseer had a prestigious career. He was a somebody at one time. I mean, I know they want you to look up to the circuit overseer, of course. And they want you to believe that, he could be a somebody and was a somebody at one time, but he's chosen to be a volunteer. And notice I use the word volunteer in quotes. Because since when does a volunteer get a nice fancy car, have all their expenses paid, a roof over their head, free dental health insurance as well, not to mention the green handshakes that they get whenever they visit congregations? And if you don't know what I mean by that, it's the fact that a lot of times people within the congregations will slip, a $20 or $100 bill into their hand when they see them. So there's all kinds of perks. I'm not saying they live lavish lifestyles, and I'm not saying that I don't agree with the congregation giving them these things. What I'm saying is that they present it as if they're just volunteers. Can you imagine going to a soup kitchen and saying, "Hi, I'm here to volunteer. Where's my car?" You know, this is what I'm saying. And how in the end really are they any different from the clergy class? Take a look at this little sheet here where I added up some of the expenses. So you're looking at a sheet there of estimates. I tried to estimate how much does it cost to support yourself, because the circuit overseer is completely covered. All of these expenses are paid. And he gets a stipend, which I don't know how much it is. I estimated $1,500, assuming he's part of a couple, that he's married, because most circuit overseers seem to be married. When I was in the organization in the year 2000, there was a special pioneer couple who each made $500, so $1,000 for the couple. That was 17 years ago. So if you add all these things up, how much would it cost? It's between $40,000 and $58,000 annually in Canadian dollars. And when I Googled, well, what does the average clergyman make in Canada? And it's between $45,000 and $50,000. So we're pretty much right on target here, aren't we?
We already have our own religion and traditions. They're part of who we are. Didn't becoming a witness mean you had to give that all up?
Not at all. We'll still enjoy our traditional food, music, and clothes, and so many other things.
This was a sore spot for me. Not at all, she says. What a lie. Talk about misrepresenting the organization. The question is, would you join an organization if you were told before you joined that if your family does not embrace the organization, you will rarely see them again and you will rarely be able to even talk to them? I mean, obviously the answer is no, I wouldn't. Who would? But this is the facts. This is what actually happens when you join this organization. And if you're not sure or you don't believe me, take a look at this next clip and see how they view family.
Why did you arrange this without telling me?
I thought it would be nice to have a family dinner.
But none of them are in the truth.
How else are you going to witness to them?
They're only here to socialize. They're not here to talk about Jehovah.
Come on, Brian. They're family. Let's go and talk.
So he doesn't want to see family that are not witnesses. And when he socializes, he must always be talking about Jehovah.
Hello, Henry. How are you?
Okay. We haven't seen much of you lately.
Yeah, well, we've been pretty busy.
Busy? Well, I can tell you spend a lot of time with your church, but how it does, we felt really left out. We have other relatives who are Christians. I mean, they really spend time with us during holidays.
Henry, as I've explained before, when we became witnesses, there are just certain practices we don't want to compromise on. Our beliefs are very important to us. Between that and work, we really do have busy schedules.
Oh, this guy's too busy. How lame. Pick up the phone. This guy is too busy being a Pharisee that he ends up giving a terrible witness. Our beliefs are very important to us. What about everybody else's beliefs? This is what bothers me about Jehovah's Witnesses. They always act like they're the only ones that have beliefs, that only their beliefs matter. You know, he pioneers and spends countless hours preaching to complete strangers, but the people closest to him see him as a total douchebag.
So what did your family say when you changed your religion?
My mother was very upset. She's not so angry anymore, although she doesn't understand.
They like to portray people who are not members of the organization or people who have left as being upset and angry. It's not true, of course. And they also mention that we don't understand. Actually, we do understand. If you ever get a chance to break away and from all the indoctrination, you'll understand too. The next part is kind of interesting. It makes me wonder if the person who actually wrote these videos has some kind of a foot or shoe fixation. Take a look at all the references to shoes and feet.
Joe, thanks for coming over, man. Yeah, come on in. All right. Oh, if you don't mind, can you take off your shoes? You could just put it on the rack over here.
Serious?
Yeah, this is where we put all our shoes.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, those are nice boots.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, Anna's home. Hi. Hey.
It's customary to take our shoes off, so
here too. Come on in, guys. I know Kevin.
Just don't know what it's like to be poor. I know. I remember when I was young, I had to wear my sister's shoes with holes in them. Look at my shoes. Do you see holes in them? How do you think I got shoes with no holes, huh? Oh, I like these.
What are those?
You're not going out in your sister's shoes.
Why not?
Because I said so.
But these are perfect. She doesn't wear them anymore.
Never. Never. Your grandma had to wear her sister's shoes and they had holes in them.
Mom, calm down. I don't wear them anymore.
She was so ashamed. I made up my mind to make a lot of money so no one would ever see me borrow clothes. And you're not going to borrow it either.
It was a bit weird, but the whole thing reminded me of a particular Seinfeld episode.
Hello, everyone. Hi. This is my friend Frank.
Oh, what would you like today? Manicure? Pedicure?
I'll take a manicure. I don't take my shoes off for anyone.
They're the boys. It sounds so familiar. You fell in love. But when I brought him home to meet my father, he refused to take his shoes off, and there was a terrible fight. This man also refused to take his shoes off.
I've never seen people treated like this.
The next two clips are the most painful parts of these videos to watch. It's when the organization decides to take some cheap shots at homosexuality.
Yay! Congratulations, guys. I know this place will be the home of your dreams.
Those men are so funny.
Thank you.
Mom, they're a gay couple.
So,
A year ago, that shocked you?
things change, and we need to get used to it.
I just...
Exchange the words gay couple for a black couple or Jewish. I would hope that nobody would ever reference them that way. Oh, they're a black couple or they're Jewish, the way she did. So why do they think it's okay to be bigots when it comes to gay couples?
But just to let you know, she's doing really good. And we really do enjoy having her on the team.
Okay, thank you.
You know, not just that, she's working with some good people. Tess and Eric, they're some of the best up-and-coming talents we have in the field.
Your parents must be really proud of you.
Well, my moms are both really proud of me. I was raised by two wonderful women, you know, life partners.
Oh, yeah, you know, my assistant Marty, I recently found out that he's gay.
You say that like there's something wrong with it. Do you have a problem?
Tess, don't do this.
Why? There's nothing wrong with being gay.
Tess, we live by the Bible's moral standards, but we don't force our beliefs on other people, and we don't judge anyone either.
But you do think being gay is wrong.
Eric, remember where we're at.
Well, we believe there are standards of right and wrong that we should live by. And God's word says that sex is meant to be between a man and a woman who are married to each other.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, sir, but the world has changed.
Honey, maybe we're being too harsh on gays. Some people just seem to be programmed that way.
Look, I know not everyone agrees with us, but we all have free will. And God lets us choose to live by his standards or not. If we go against his standards, we end up hurting ourselves. He just wants what's best for us.
Anna, what about you? Do you agree with your father?
Well,
You know, we actually have another project due tomorrow. It's probably best that we get going.
Wait, at least let me walk you guys outside.
It's interesting how they featured a lesbian couple. I guess it would have been awkward if it had been a gay male couple and the father here had offered him his two virgin daughters the way Lot had. The father here says he doesn't judge. But is this the face of somebody who's not judging? We all do it from time to time, but let's just be honest about it. I just can't help wondering, that if the girl in the video had mentioned that her parents were heterosexual but were not married, would the father have chosen to lecture her in this manner? And what did he really expect her to do? I mean, the girl's defending her parents the way anybody would defend their parents. She's not going to take the viewpoint of a complete stranger over her own parents, whom she loves obviously very dearly. But this is what the Jehovah's Witness organization wants you to do. They're presenting this as a model for you to follow closely. They want you to not sit by quietly while people go about their business. They want you to inflict your lectures on them of how they should live their lifestyle. Because even though, as I said, God gives us free will, we feel you need to live the way we feel you should live. And guilt people into being that way. And it's interesting too, did you notice the character there, Gloria, the wife, the Lot's wife character, how she, when she talked about a gay couple that she works with, how she said it in hushed tones, like the guy was a serial killer or some kind of criminal. They can't accept this in any way, shape or form, and they refuse to. And that's fine. That's their choice. As I said, they have the God-given free will to do this. But sadly, when you are gay and you are growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, you are given no choice. I personally have known several gay Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were either miserable because they forced themselves to live as a heterosexual, or they forced themselves to be celibate. And many of these ones, sadly, took their own lives. They couldn't live in a world without love. You see, as a Jehovah's Witness, that is your choice. You have no door number 3 to choose from. You either force yourself to be in a heterosexual relationship, which isn't really fair to the person you're marrying, who realizes that you don't love them, or you force yourself to be celibate, or you force yourself to be in a world without love. It's simply not possible for most people. People can't live like that. So they take their own lives, and it's heartbreaking. It shouldn't have to be this way. When you start to really think about it, most people don't choose to be different. They wouldn't choose a lifestyle for which they would be condemned by most people, and certainly not one in which they would be condemned to death. It doesn't make any sense. They're not choosing this lifestyle. It's simply the way it is for them. It's how they feel. And don't you find it ironic that of all times the organization is talking about this when they're focusing on Lot? I mean, here's a man who encourages an angry mob of homosexuals to have sex with his 2 virgin daughters. Then he's forcibly led by the hand by angels out of the city, only to get drunk and have sex with both of his daughters and father children with both of them. The whole thing is completely messed up. If you think, so people who are watching this who say, well, homosexuality is a perversion, incest takes perversion to a whole new level. Moving on, we see some serious bad acting, mostly from the father and from the shaved son. And notice how it's the son with the facial hair who is reluctant to study.
Right. Okay. Look, I've decided something. I decided that I want us all to start studying the Bible together.
What? You mean you want to become a priest?
Come on, Rick.
It's Jehovah's Witnesses, isn't it, Dad? I borrowed your book. I liked it.
Well, I think it's a good idea. You know, I really like those people. And it seems to be helping you, Joe. You seem so much happier.
Yeah. No, yeah, I am. So, like I said, that's what I decided. But I really want us all to be in on this together. All right, so what do you say, boys?
Sure, Dad.
Rick. Come on, Rick.
We all know that JW.org is very down on beards. There was a time period when they even had Jesus shave off his beard for their literature. I created this little Jesus beardless montage from Paradise Lost to Paradise Restored book. Once the bearded son started getting more into JW.org, the beard was shaved off. Here's a little guide to help you understand the JW.org mentality. Facial hair equals resisting the organization. Clean shaven means you're ready to conform to whatever the organization says. The organization uses peer pressure to get their followers to conform. It's also part of the mind control. It's the B from Stephen Hassan's famous BITE model, B as in behavior control. They are well aware of the scripture, if you're faithful in little things, you'll be faithful in bigger things. So if you can control how someone acts, like shaving off their beard, it'll be much easier to get them to do other bigger things down the road, like refuse blood or shun a loved one. And who knew that certain hairstyles indicated one's level of spirituality? Here's a guide to understand what Anna's hairstyles meant. So in the first picture, she's in good standing with her hair like that. In the second one, she's skirting the edge, she's getting a little worldly. In the third one, full-on Jezebel. Her hair's red, and this obviously is a bad thing. If you remember that picture earlier I showed from the children's book when they showed Lot's wife and they had her with red hair too. Very odd for people in the Middle East, I'll add. Anyways, in the end, you see the last picture, her hair is back brown, so therefore she's in good standing.
Can we at least keep the new piano? Only if we do something about your hair first.
Good point.
What? Is there something wrong with my hair? Tina helped me fix it yesterday.
Yes, she's back to having brown hair, so all can be good in the world again. There was much annoying talk in the video where they referred to their new place as not being good and how great their old cramped house was. When you're watching it, think about how the organizations themselves sold their Brooklyn buildings and moved to much nicer and newer buildings up in upstate New York.
I think I'd get lost in this big apartment.
Well, Jehovah blessed us for our hard work.
Really, it just means longer hours on the job and more work around the house.
You know, the other day in field service, we passed by your old house. I like that place. I remember our nice visits there.
I do too. That was a great place. Yeah. Well, Tina, do you want to show Brother Williams around while I finish the coffee?
Oh, okay, come on in.
Brother Williams likes the old place.
Seems like he likes here too.
It all seems very nice. What do you think of this place, Tina?
Well, honestly, I wish we never left the other place.
Really?
We might give up this place. Is that all right with everyone?
Finally. I never liked this place anyway.
Let's now take a look at their old place that everyone keeps raving on about.
Okay, why don't we come into my office? All right, come on over.
Okay.
All right, here's a chair. Let's see if we can get that for you. And you can take a seat. And, oh, before you do so, can you grab the door? Yeah. Cozy, isn't it?
How do you get anything done in here, man?
I don't know, but I found that whole bit odd. I mean, who wouldn't prefer a nice, beautiful, new, spacious house? I mean, it's different if you can't afford it. If you try to live, beyond your means and you're drowning in debt, But if you're living a balanced lifestyle and you can afford it, who wouldn't prefer a nicer home? There's nothing wrong with having nice things. And we're not talking about materialism here. I've known some very wealthy people that were not the least bit materialistic, whereas I've known some poor people where all they seem to do is talk about money and getting ahead in life. So it really doesn't have anything to do with how much money you have. It's about your attitude. And, the organization wants its followers to just eke by. Just earn your living, just eke by. But is that what they do? Don't you find it odd that they sold their Brooklyn buildings and moved up to the much lusher, much nicer, more spacious, bigger, beautiful surroundings up in upstate New York? And in order for them to be able to do that, they started to solicit donations and they asked for volunteers. Take a look and see what I mean here. So this is a letter that went out to all elders on January 13th, 2015. It talks about how they need experienced attorneys and paralegals at Bethel. They want them to be qualified. There's a particular need for those who have experience in litigation, corporate matters, or real estate transactions. We're hoping to locate several experienced attorneys and paralegals who have exceptional analytical research and writing abilities. But notice at the end there, please note that we are not encouraging individuals to pursue higher education or university degrees to obtain skills related to legal matters. The organization wants to use you in any way they can. They wanted skilled, university-educated volunteers to come and help them. But don't you go and get a university education in order for you to have a better life. No, that will be wrong because the end is near. They want you to live in a tiny, cramped apartment building. And if you try to have a better lifestyle, they make it look like you're being like Lot's wife, you're being materialistic. Whereas they go and move themselves up to much nicer, lusher buildings. And they couldn't even afford these because they said in a JW Broadcasting episode that they needed more funds to complete their building work. They had a tight schedule and they needed this money from you. It's just so hypocritical, and the hypocrisy just never seems to end with this organization. At any rate, that sums up my review of the 3-part Lot series, the Remember the Wife of Lot series. So I hope you enjoyed it. I myself am going to give it a double thumbs down. But that's just me. I'd be curious to know what you think about it. So if you liked my video, like it, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time.